подарочек.
This is how the members of the Partisan movement were engaged in aerial reconnaissance and were destroying enemy forces during the Russian occupation of the Kharkiv region.
With our small partisan unit, we went to the Ukrainian settlement of Prudyanka, which was not controlled by the Russian occupation army, and it was here, specifically this place, where we launched unmanned aerial vehicles from, which volunteers helped us with. We are grateful to them for their significant assistance in surveying this territory of Tsupivka.
There are only 4 kilometers between the villages of the Derhachi community, Prudyanka and Tsupivka. During the Russian occupation, Prudyanka was in the grey area and Tsupivka was occupied by the military of the Russian Federation. Since the beginning of the full-scale invasion, the members of a small partisan unit, together with the armed forces of Ukraine, have been not only destroying the Russian equipment and manpower, but also rescuing people from the occupied territories.
Oleg, take people, come on, we are going to Derhachi. Come on, get in, get in.
While drones with grenades were sowing panic in the enemy's rear, guides transported local residents through minefields to the territory of free Ukraine.
Hold on, have a safe journey. We will never give up.
Жіночка, 70.
A 74-year-old woman gathered people in her house. The locals came to her, and we were making our way through all these minefields, took people away from there and brought them to Prudyanka. We loaded them into our vehicles along with their pets and drove them to Derhachi.
The Russian invaders failed to occupy Derhachi. The headquarters of the resistance movement was located there in the local palace of culture. The Russian military destroyed the building to smithereens with heavy artillery. The people who were helping the armed forces of Ukraine had no fear. The head of the Derhachi military administration says they called the headquarters and reported important information from the occupied territory.
Страх за те, що не втіряють.
They only were afraid that they would lose their homeland, that they would not be able to return to their homes, to a normal life, and the fear that their children would not have a decent future. And that fear overcame the fear of the enemy tortures or abuse. People called us and gave information. These were dugouts, that checkpoint, that fortified area that we stormed. These were Russian dugouts, trenches, there were a lot of them.
The brothers Yaroslav and Vladislav are also members of the Partisan movement. They remember that it all started with humanitarian aid to the armed forces of Ukraine. Then they were searching for information, launching drones and repairing abandoned Russian equipment. They delivered captured Russian tanks to the Ukrainian military. Together with a unit of the armed forces of Ukraine, they carried out combat missions. Yaroslav is a gunner operator. Vladislav is a crew commander. Several enemy tanks were knocked out at one of the Russian checkpoints.
I fired a high-explosive shell at the infantry, and when we got closer, I shot at the Tiger armored car. I hit the car's engine, so it could fire. There was a flash, and it was burning here. The weather was bad, very bad. I shouted to my brother at the radio station that we needed to wipe the site, so he got out of the tank, and there was heavy shelling by the Russians. But he got out to the waist and wiped my site with his hand.
Then brothers with their entire squad were ambushed. The Russian occupiers began to shell them with heavy guns. Their tank was all hit with shrapnel, but they managed to move to a safe distance and everyone survived.
When they hit from large caliber artillery, there were thoughts like, guys, we will probably stay here forever. It was very close. They shelled us. And you clearly understand that they are shelling specifically you.
After the liberation of the Kharkiv region by the armed forces of Ukraine, both brothers went to serve in the border guard detachment, and now already in military uniform, they continue to liberate Ukrainian land. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Nadia Sukharukova, UATV News.